Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle, a tarot practitioner for over 35 years. And in this late Two for Tuesday, we are going to be talking about Donald Trump versus the world, specifically the whole tariff conundrum. Be right back. Welcome back, you tarot maniacs. So we're going to do two parts here. We're going to look at Donald Trump first, and then we're going to look at the rest of the world. Now, I can't go into every country, but we are going to look at some of the major players and what the general idea is. To date, and it is 9 a.m. New York time on Tuesday, April 8th. You guys know I'm headed out of town this week. I'm headed out tomorrow. And so I'm going to make sure that I have enough content for you. That's why this video is late. We had the send off for the kids last night and they performed amazingly. My son is a musical genius. Little braggy moment. Sorry, guys. But we're going to take a look at kind of the general milieu. But as of right now, apparently 80 countries have now stepped back to the table and want to negotiate with Donald Trump a little bit more on these tariffs. In the thumbnail, I'm going to include the board that Donald Trump brought out, but just to give you guys a little bit of an idea, China was charging us, the US, 67% tariff. The European Union, 39%, and their chairperson, president, has stepped up and said, now we want to negotiate. Vietnam, I believe it's 96%, I think that says. Taiwan, 64. Japan, 46. So we have a lot of Japanese products in our house because my husband is half Japanese. And I'm going to tell you something, Japanese stuff is very expensive. Just want you to know that. So some of the high notes here: Cambodia, 97. Thailand, 72. Bangladesh, 74. I thought that was kind of crazy. Really, there are Indonesia, 64, Malaysia, 47. 47 almost feels comfortable after saying 90 something. So we're going to take a look at this. I don't know how this tariff strategy is going to play out. I have consistently said that I do think it's a negotiating tactic. I think he is trying to get other countries to negotiate with us and to have these reciprocal tariffs, meaning you're going to charge us 10%, we're going to charge you 10%. You're going to charge us 50%, we're going to charge you 50%. Interestingly enough, the head of the European Union has proposed a 0 for 0 tariff on industrial goods, which I think Donald Trump is going to go, yeah, that sounds good. 0 for 0 sounds great. But we'll see. We'll see what he's going to say about that. So we're going to be using two decks in this. We're going to be using my typical Princess Catherine James Bond premiere gold tarot, but Trump loves gold, so we're going to use a gold tarot for him. We're also going to use the Hydesville tarot. This is a major arcana deck. It is only the major arcana, so it will show us really clearly what the status of negotiations, what the intent and positioning is of the different parties that we're going to be talking about. So I hope you're going to enjoy this. I know my political views sometimes bleed through a little bit. I'm kind of neutral on this one. I think it's very interesting to go back to a tariff-based economy in terms of economics. I'm not an economist, of course, but I think it's very interesting because during the Industrial Revolution, our country, the United States, I'm an American citizen, we were thriving, and a lot of it was due to having no personal income tax and having heavy tariffs for things that were coming and going. So, I think it's very interesting. But again, I want to stress, I'm not an economist. I don't know what the answer to this is, but we're going to see what the tarot has to say about it. So come on board, and we're going to start off with Donald Trump. Thanks for listening to the intro. Second video won't have as big of an intro. Let's bring up that card view. Before I do that, hit the like button and go take a look at my sales, because I do have different sales coming up every week this month. And we've got a special on past life regression. We're going to be doing a monthly group past life regression. If you missed it before last weekend and the Friday before, I had 2 sessions. Everybody got a kick out of it. It was really fun, kind of like a little vacation. So I think we'll do this a lot over the summer. I'll put together these group classes. You can do a little group meditation right on the beach, right at your poolside, wherever you like, in your hammock, maybe while you're, well, not while you're mowing the lawn. I want you to just kind of sit and relax, but while you're sitting in a chair on the front porch. So we'll have some fun with that. I'll be back for personal readings after this weekend, and I will see you guys very, very soon, live and crazy. Let's bring up that card view. I know you hit that like button already, and let's make it nice and big so you can see it. So what is Donald Trump's core intent behind these increasing tariffs? Is this to destroy democracy, or is it to really enrich the United States economy? What is... He wants to break ties with businesses. Wow. This is a lot of breaking away, kids. So this is really disrupting the relationships that have been forged. And I think this is editorial. I do think that we're going to be bringing manufacturing back to the United States. Whatever he makes on some of these tariffs, some of the stiffer punitary tariffs, let's call it punitive tariffs. I think he's going to use that money to reinfuse our manufacturing. So, somebody, I just saw an article. It was very interesting about bringing the Motor City back. Detroit as the Motor City. Detroit it looks like it was bombed. It looks like a mess. But bringing back manufacturing, providing good jobs, a living wage in those jobs, perhaps that rights the ship. We get people in there. We give them some money. We teach them how to do, how to build and succeed and do things. Maybe we get into a very different kind of mindset there. So I see this as breaking away from elements, not tariff-wise, breaking away from manufacturing. So I think this is an easy way to do so. But underneath the surface, I think it's very disappointing to him that we are not building, developing, making things happen here. Why not? Why are we not thriving? Why are we not flush? This card's about not being flush. This is about being very wasteful and not looking at the American people as thriving. Now, you guys can say this is isolationist, this is separatism, this is not separatism. Separatism is a little different, but isolationism and xenophobia. It's not typically xenophobia because we're just kind of a big melting pot here. Xenophobia is a little bit different. We can talk about that another time. But this isolationism and separating from the manufacturing in other countries, then we get, goods like the Alfa Romeo comes over, and that is now a luxury item, an imported item. Imported always had a very special kind of veneer to, I don't want to say veneer, but kind of a special gilding to it. Oh, it's imported sparkling water. It's imported wine. It's imported this, imported shoes. That, I think, makes the imported items that we have so much more valuable, so much more interesting to obtain. My Yorkshire Gold. I'm praying that my supply holds out until we cooperate and get better deals with England on that. I haven't looked at the price of my Yorkshire Red and my Yorkshire Gold. So is his strategy more economic, political, or personal? And you know what? Actually, we're going to go over to the Hydesville for this one. Sorry, kids. Sit with me. Sit with me. Again, this is a major arcana. We're going to read these in the upright too. You will recognize these characters. It does look like the Rider-Waite. Don't you worry. So we're going to do economical, political, or personal. Okay. And this is the one personal that everyone's saying, oh, he's just a megalomaniac. He just wants power. He just wants this, blah, 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 blah. So economical, the hermit, that's isolationism. That is taking us out into the distance, using what we know and putting it to work. So political, the moon. Yes, there is some political moves behind here. And then personal, transformative. I don't think so. I don't think it's a personal need. I think it's a personal need to succeed in the position, a personal need to make everyone pay attention to the good ideas that he has. So I have somebody who keeps showing up in my chats. And if you're here, hi, it's good to see you. Hope you're going to be nice. That is like, oh, you got it all wrong about Trump. You got it all wrong. He's not a great businessman. Anyone who is a billionaire, I'm going to say it loudly for the people in the back, is clearly running a business well, clearly knows how to run a business. The United States is in an economic state that needs to be corrected. So someone who has weathered bankruptcies and corrected course probably knows a thing or two. I don't think that running a business and running a country are dubious and distinct in all places. Are they common in all places? No. But I don't think that they are completely dissimilar. So, we have to see what's going on with a lot of people look at the market and go, well, the market took a dip. And so that means Donald Trump's not doing a good job. There's so many more moving parts on economy. And again, I'm not an economist, but I am a reader. I do listen and read about things. This is not the only thing. It just like the crash and burn of the country is not the responsibility of one leader. Is it the responsibility of that leader to have good support in place? Yes. The Joe Biden administration, now we're finding out there's a new book that's coming out that's saying he fell asleep during the debate prep at the pool. He wandered off and fell asleep. This is somebody who is not plugged in. It was also Joe Biden's idea that if he looked perplexed every time Donald Trump talked, that it would show that Donald Trump didn't make any sense. But what it just did was make Joe Biden look perplexed. So this isn't a new book that's coming out. Or I think it may be out already. That one, it's on my list. I'm going to get it. So, all right. How much of this tariff is pushed at bolstering his approval rating? How much of this is pushing to bolster his approval rating? Page of Wands. I don't think that his approval rating, even though he, I think everyone agrees there's a little narcissist in him, if not a lot. His detractors think he's all narcissism. His supporters think that there's a bit of it, a healthy dose of narcissism. I don't think that his opinion or the opinion of others, like the hands-off people that are marching all over the place saying hands off Social Security, when they have repeated ad nauseum, the Trump administration, that they're not touching Social Security. Facts, Social Security is going to be bankrupt in 2 years. So those automated checks are going to stop any minute. It's coming. If they don't correct course, it's coming. It's not going to be Donald Trump's fault. He talked about it in his first administration. He talked about it in his first campaign. So he's not going to pull the plug on Social Security. I think that is something that is being pushed by a group with an agenda. Let's just put it that way. So I don't think that he cares about his reputation at this point. I think he is used to people just being anti. So, what industries is he truly trying to protect or recover? So, let's look at car manufacturing. Um, we'll do car manufacturing because I think that that's going to be a big one that we're focused on. Um, Regular manufacturing and food. Let's look at food because everyone's worried about their avocados. So, car manufacturing right here, the auto industry, manufacturing in general, and then we're going to look at foods, delicious goods like my Yorkshire tea. Hashtag Yorkshire Red. If only I could get sponsored by. So, car manufacturing right there. He wants to bring that baby back. And this is manufacturing. So, I do think that this is a secondary market that he is going to bring back. I think car manufacturing is going to be the first one that he really tackles. And then over here, foods and goods. Do we need to import avocados from Mexico? Do we need to? Can't we? The climate down in some of those southern states is pretty similar. Can't we have avocados of our own? Do we need them from Mexico? No offense, Mexico. I love your avocados. I will eat them all day long. I will eat them in a bus. I will eat them with a Gus. Um, so I think, the food manufacturing, I think, is going to be a different thing. And I've said this before. I think that future home building is going to include some kind of hydroponic or aeroponic systems that you can grow certain things right in your kitchen. If we ever redo our kitchen, unless we buy like a bed and breakfast, I do want to make a hydroponic closet where I would have some herbs, and it would be just a closet that I would close, and it would have its light on, and have its own little ecosystem in there. So very interesting. I do have a tabletop hydroponic arrow garden, and I love it, and it does work really well, and it works year round. You can have herbs all the time. It's fantastic. You can have lettuce grow out of it. There is a strawberry set you can do too. Um, so what does Trump believe is going to be the long term benefit to the U.S. economy? What does he believe this will do for the US economy? It's going to protect the US economy. It's going to bring back manufacturing. It's going to bring the King of Wands is a doer. He is making things. He is doing things. The King of Pentacles also would be a manufacturing guy. Star in reverse. Let's see what that's all about. And there we go. That's the Queen of Wands. So I do think the long-term effect of this, so this is wild, guys. Sit with me here. Sit with me. Bear with me. I think we bring the idea of manufacturing back. This is not going to be accomplished in his term. I'm saying that. Future cast. Let me do a little future cast here. I don't think his intention is to accomplish all of this in his term. This is why we need to reprogram our workforce. I know that sounds terrible, guys. Don't come for me. We need to reprogram our workforce to see value in manufacturing jobs, to see value. You don't have to sit behind a desk as an attorney making $450 an hour, $1,000 an hour. You don't have to be that person. You can be an auto manufacturer. You can be Michael Keaton in Gung Ho. Great movie if you haven't seen it. You can be that and make an excellent livable wage with benefits, with a retirement package that's yours and private and not dependent on just Social Security in your retirement. That I think is the goal. And that's where this comes in, this star in reverse and this anxiety that we have, because we have to really sell the idea to the kids that are coming up. And I will say that I know I have a high schooler still, and a lot of his friends don't want to go to college. They don't want to waste the money. It's too expensive. They don't want to waste the time. They want to get in there and they want to start working. So, with that kind of mentality, I think he is going to have um, a foothold, but I don't think it's not universal. I think there's still a lot of kids that want to go, have that college experience, have a great time, get their boogie on, take that 4, 6, 8 years, and earn a more serious degree where they are considered a professional. I think the sale of being in manufacturing is that you are a professional, you are someone of substance. I was speaking with a client yesterday, and we were talking about sales clerks in their business, and I said, if you change the branding of it to ambassador or concierge, it has a little bit of a different feel other than salesperson. Like the last thing anybody wants is a sales job because you're chasing your tail all the time. You are just constantly chasing your next month's receipts. And it can be very stressful. See Willie Loman in Death of a Salesman. It can be very stressful, and it can be very difficult to live that life without a consistent wage. So, I think this provides a consistent wage, but it also has to be rebranded as you're not a factory worker. You are you have ownership in the company. And I wonder if there is even going to be more of a socialist kind of concept where like you are contributing to the company, like a rebranding of that of sorts. See Russian Revolution and the formation of the concept of unions there, where the people were all having a piece of the company. They were all getting a piece of it. Didn't exactly work for them. But I think if there's a sale of a little bit of a different concept, I think we get there. So very interesting. I think that is really the long-term benefit is to bring manufacturing back here, to have innovators, but also have ground workers. So is there any hidden motivation behind this? Is there any hidden motivation? Like, is there revenge or global posturing? Like, is he trying to like separate the wheat from the chaff here, like in terms of political allies? So what is our hidden motivations behind it? Any Two of Pentacles, Three of Wands. If you're not with us, we're going to cut you loose. That is really the vibe of this. America is undeniably a superpower. And there is some discussion about, sharing that mantle with other superpowers, be it Russia, be it China, and just coming to terms with the fact that we have a Western superpower and an Eastern superpower. um I think this really is, if you want to come along with us, you got to play ball. You got to do what is going to be mutually beneficial. We cannot support everyone anymore. We cannot give to all these other countries and support them in that sense. So and again, I'm reading the cards here. I'm letting what this says to me. Does that mean that we don't owe a debt of gratitude to some of these other countries? Positing an example of Canada. Canada is a huge country that borders us, and according to many of my viewers, in the event that something happens here on U.S. soil, that they would rush to the rescue. Do we owe them a little bit more of a gratitude? Yes. Trump managed to insult half of them, or maybe more than half of them. So by saying that he was going to make it another state, and there's a whole kerfuffle about that. He seems to have like let that down. So what archetype is Trump playing in this tariff avenger role? So what archetype? So we're going to, and this is the main reason I brought out the Hydesville Tarot. So let's get one card here. Strength. Strength. He has the patience and the fortitude to wait for other countries to come along and decide what is best for all of us. What is the best way to negotiate? So he's really forcing some other countries to take a hard look and go, maybe we've had it too good for too long. So interesting that we got the strength card there. So I'm going to close this one up for now, but you're going to get part 2. And we're going to talk about how the world responds and what is happening. World spinning around. Like I said, we've got about 80 countries that are now stepping up to the table. They want to renegotiate their terms. They want to make sure that they get a fair deal and that they're not paying for past inequities and tariffs. So, and that is something I do think that Trump is trying to correct. That I think he's trying to get some more money in so that we can make up for lost time. So I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. If you didn't hit the like button, hit it. If you'd like to get your own magical reading from me, there's a link down below. You can schedule in advance for any of the April sales. Hope to see some of you guys on my schedule in the future. I'll see you soon.